શું કરું? I'm starting. Hello, good morning. Welcome all of you on this wonderful Sunday. We all will be searching happiness today. While coming here, I was thinking, what is the difference between joy, happiness, and bliss? I thought eating ice cream was joy. Going to Iceland was happiness because it is second happiest country in the world. But bliss, maybe it's something that we strive for. And probably we'll get all these answers through today's learnings from Deshmukh ji and all other speakers. I am very happy to say that today we have Dr. Sanjay Deshmukh with us, who is an academic thought leader and a professor of life sciences at University of Mumbai. He stands as a visionary in ecological economics. We all have seen mangroves growing on seashores. Instead of going through a very long introduction, I would like to say that Dr. Deshmukh's work throughout his professional journey has revolved around mangroves. He has made sure that organizations from 50 countries come together to ensure that we preserve mangroves for our mankind. You see, he must be getting happiness through his lifetime work on this. His research spanning 50 countries birthed a global network for mangrove conservation. We all should give a clap to him for such wonderful work, sir. He is the youngest ever full-time Vice Chancellor of Mumbai University. His reforms revolutionizing academia, directly benefiting millions of students, and his influence transcends accolades resonating at grassroots level, especially in India's coastal regions. In essence, Professor Deshmukh's transformative leadership and global influence position him as a trailblazer in academia, shaping scholarly discourse and advancing social well-being. And we have next with us Dr. Bharat C. Patel. Bharat Bhai is a doctorate in engineering science. He passed out from LD Engineering in 1968, and then for last 4 decades he is he has devoted his life at New Jersey. He served with distinction in various executive positions in New Jersey state government for 4 decades. He was instrumental in developing and implementing New Jersey's sustainable energy. You see, he took sustainable energy quite before time. Today we are all talking about sustainable, 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 but he has been working on it for quite a long time. He also worked on commerce, economic policies, and plans. In addition to publishing numerous policy papers and articles, he has served as an adjunct professor of electrical engineering at New Jersey Institute of Technology. Dr. Patel's intellectual journey led him to convergence of ancient Vedic wisdom. Sir, I am reminded we have a Mamta AMA Center for Wisdom, where only few months back we had Lama Guruji from Ladakh. And I remember it was organized by Mahendra Bhai's family. And I remember when he came, he spoke so little, but his words were very precious. And that's what is going to happen today. And there he said, for getting happiness in life, whenever calamity comes, you embrace it. You know, it was really wonderful. That still rings in our mind, sir. And AMA is very fortunate to have such programs which offer so much so for the life management here. Yeah. Uh, and I remember, sir, last year also we had a book launch of yours, sir. Isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Inspired by revered luminaries like Adi Shankaracharya, Swami Vivekanand, and Dr. Radhakrishnan, he embarked on a quest to unearth the profound knowledge enshrined in ancient texts. Notably, his publications include Intent of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, A Path to Self-Realization. He has been guiding individuals on transformative journey of self-discovery and self-realization. An avid world traveler also. You see, during this journey, many of us travel throughout the world. But there is also a need to travel inside. Many call it Atma Siddhi, and many call it the other way. But today we will have a lot of things to learn from this session. I'm very happy to share that we also have our very respected Kartikeya Sarabhai with us. He is an eminent environment educator and founder director of the Center for Environment Education, just 3 kilometers from here. He holds a tripos in natural science from Cambridge University, UK, and post-graduation in developmental communication from MIT, USA. I am very happy that we also have the pleasure of having Shri Kartikeya Bhai Sarabhai ji on Executive Council of AMA, where we get a lot of guidance from him. Very recently, we had a very enlightening lecture on COP28 from Kartikeya Bhai. And sir, the 12 technologies that you and Sunil Parekh ji displayed to us, which are going to shape the world now, was something very important that you brought to AMA, sir. Shri Sarabhai has been actively involved with number of UN organizations like UNESCO, UNEP, UNICEF, and UNDP. He has also served as chair of the governing council of the Earth Charter International. Many may be knowing, but he also is very actively involved in the management of Gandhi Ashram. And he has received several national and international awards, including the International Brand Wayne Medal. He was also awarded Padma Shri in 2012. And we also have a very renowned industrialist, Mahendrabhai Patel. Mahendrabhai Patel also, like our Rohit Bhai, is a past president of AMA and instrumental in bringing various wonderful programs जरा एक मिनट गोठवाई जवा दी let it set up. Mahendrabhai is a combination. You see, since 1975, he is into engineering manufacturing. He has brought technology to our country through about 12 collaborations from various foreign countries like UK, Germany, France, Italy, Spain, Japan, China, USA, Canada, and Sweden. So he's a combination, I would say, of technology and wisdom. Then we have our current president, Dr. Savan Godiawala, with us. He is a chartered accountant and a PhD also. A partner at Deloitte. He brings 31 years of financial advisory expertise to the table. Okay. He is a sports enthusiast and also a marathon runner. With this, I would like to welcome all the dignitaries here. Sir तो नहीं ले भाई
Out of question.
चल बेटा गया
I am supposed to be giving. So we can invite. We can invite Professor.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, let us all get together for the book launch first, sir. Yeah. Well, I would like to invite Professor Deshmukh to share his views on happiness.
There are some chairs here. If you are standing, you can come here. Chairs over here.
Namaskar and good morning, everybody. Today we are missing the presence of Shri Divesh Bhai Radia Sahab, who was supposed to be here, but due to some urgent commitment at home, he could not remain present. But in his place, we have Gandhi sir, who has very eloquently introduced the theme of this gathering and the purpose for which we have gathered all here. We have the president of EMA, respected Sawan Godiawala sir. We have eminent industrialist Mahendra Bhai Patel. We have one of my idols I have been observing, studying and understanding since my childhood. A very eminent environmentalist, Honorable Shri Kartike Sarabhai. I'm sorry. And also, I am not only reminded of his contribution, but his very, very esteemed father, who truly justified an Urdu शेर, and I would like to quote, कि अगर कहते हैं कि आपको ऊंचा जाना है तो कितना ऊंचा जाना है जिंदगी में, तो एक शेर है, कहते हैं कि गर देखना है मेरे उड़ने का फन, गर देखना है मेरे उड़ने का फन, तो जाओ आसमां को और ऊंचा करो. तो आई हैव अ कैपेसिटी टू गो बियॉन्ड दैट. तो ये आसमान, अवकाश जिसके बारे में हम सोचते थे, उसमें भारत देश का नाम उजागर करने वाले, भारत को एक नया आयाम देने वाले जो उनके पिता थे, उन्होंने हमको आसमान की तरफ देखना सिखाया और कार्तिकेय भाई ने हमको जमीन की तरफ ग्राउंड लेवल पे जीना सिखाया. क्योंकि एनवायरनमेंट है, उसके बारे में हम एजुकेट नहीं करेंगे तो हम कैसे इस दुनिया में जी पाएंगे. तो मुझे लगता है कि ये बहुत यूनिक घटना है कि आज हम सब ऐसे महान व्यक्तित्व के लिए यहाँ पे आए हैं, जिनका भाषण सुनने के लिए मैं भी बेताब हूँ, लेकिन मुझे भी कुछ कहना है. इसके लिए शायद मुझे ये मौका पहले मिला है. और मेरे बहुत परम मित्र भरत भाई, तरु बहन भी यहाँ पर है, नहीं आई है, अच्छा, आई थॉट शी इज अराउंड, बट I had a privilege to spend some time with them in August, and we had a lot of interactions, not only on this book, but the earlier book, which he used to share with me, many chapters and other things. So it has been a great privilege to be here amongst all of you this morning. And Gujarat has been one of my very favorite states. I have traveled, crisscrossed the coastal regions of entire country for my research. And Gujarat, with the longest coastline, was the most challenging, but yet very, very enlightening experience for me to explore the coastal ecosystems and the dependency of people on these wonderful natural resources called mangroves. And with that, I got a chance to work with Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, who was recently posthumously conferred with Bharat Ratna. It was a great privilege to work with him. And I have grown with all these luminaries. Kartikeya Bhai, as I said, has been one of my idols. And I was very fortunate. I met several such idols at different stages of my life. And I looked at opportunity in every individual that interacted with me. And that is what I feel has given us a tremendous enrichment of life. Happiness के बारे में कहते थे कि what is happiness and what is freedom? बचपन में मेरे पिताजी कहते थे कि doing what you like is freedom. आज हम हैं, आपको हम जो भी करना है करना सिखा सकते हैं. पिताजी कहते थे, doing what you like is freedom, but liking what you do is happiness. And that is what I think is the crux of the book that Bharat Bhai has so meticulously written. And I went through pages day after day, and I didn't know when it told me that I should be writing a foreword. I couldn't resist but write a huge essay kind of a thing where forward has to be not more than about 900 words or so. But I also feel very privileged that I got the opportunity thanks to Bharat Bhai's vision. He felt that my foreword, which was very, very extensive, he gave me place in his own book as the last chapter of his book. And I feel very privileged that I figure in the book as a contributor in a different way, and more privileged to write forward for a luminary like him. Bharat Bhai has been a beacon of hope, not only for the people whom he met in his life, but he has enlightened lives of many people. A truly philanthropist. Without any statement, he will keep on doing his work. And the commitment like a sage. I must say, the book which he wrote earlier, Intent of Bhagavad Gita, he was thinking about it from his childhood, and the opportunity came during COVID times. And he started his stopwatch, how much time he would like to give. He gave 12,400 hours to write that book, Intent of Bhagavad Gita. And he read about 800 books, authors who wrote about Bhagavad Gita, including Gita Rahasya by Lokmanya Tilak. But if you see his intent of Bhagavad Gita, it is amazing. Not because he spent so much time, but because he has understood truly what is the essence. And I feel that in the state from where our Honorable Prime Minister comes, the recent enlightening experience, and we all feel very proud that the Ramji has finally, after 500 years, have got their own place, their own home in Ayodhya. I think it's a true beginning of happiness for the entire nation, the entire world. And Bharat Bhai's book will definitely play a very important role in the lives of those who will come across this book. I have been given 20 minutes to speak. I have taken 3-4 minutes to give this uh, personal feelings about it, but I will take 18 to 19 minutes more because I've written my speech so that I can complete it in time. And the greater challenge was to write something which I have not written in the foreword or in the last chapter of the book. So it was a greater challenge for me as to how do I really put into words my feelings for today. There is a very auspicious number called 7. 7 is a number which is dedicated to Lord Balaji. And because it is the Lord of 7 hills, that is how the 7 number is very auspicious. Some people treat 9 as auspicious, particularly for numbering the vehicles and all that. But 7 is something which I always felt is dear to me because our family deity is also Balaji. So I have tried to confine myself to 7 points in today's speech, and I will go one by one, and I am sure you will be able to appreciate the efforts that I have taken more than what I have written, because I'm sure you will be reading Bharat Bhai's book, which will be more enlightening than what I have tried to pen down. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, it is with great pleasure and honor that I stand before you today to celebrate the release of truly remarkable work, Searching Happiness. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you for joining us on this auspicious occasion as we embark on a journey of enlightenment and self discovery. I would like to extend a special acknowledgement to the esteemed author, Dr. Bharat Bhai, Dr. Bharat Patel, whose tireless dedication and profound insights have brought this extraordinary book to life. Dr. Patel's illustrious career and unwavering commitment to the pursuit of knowledge serve as an inspiration to all of us, and it is truly an honor to be here today to celebrate his latest achievement. My point number 2 is personal connection with Bharat Bhai. As I reflect on the journey that has led us to this momentous occasion, I am reminded of the deep personal connection that I share with Dr. Bharat Bhai. Over the years, I have had the privilege of witnessing firsthand his passion for learning and his unwavering dedication to serving others. His boundless curiosity and relentless pursuit of truth have left an indelible mark on all who have had the privilege to knowing him. I have had the pleasure of engaging in countless conversations over telephone during days and nights and adjusting the timings of India and US with Bharat Bhai, each one leaving me with a renewed sense of wonder and admiration for his intellect and insight. It is through these interactions that I have come to truly appreciate the depth of his wisdom and the profound impact and his work has had on countless lives. My point number three is overview of book. In the sacred journey of self-discovery, Dr. Bharat Bhai has embarked upon a noble quest, a quest to illuminate the path to happiness and self-realization through the timeless wisdom of the ancient scriptures. As we delve into the depth of his magnum opus, Searching Happiness, we are all called to contemplate the profound insights that have been meticulously woven into its pages, a diversity of spiritual truths that resonate with the eternal teachings of the Vedas and Upanishads. Dr. Patel's journey began long ago, nurtured by a deep reverence for the sacred text of the Hindu tradition. Having immersed himself in the study of the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita for over 6 decades, he has cultivated a unique depth of learning and discernment, a depth that is evident in the profound insights that permeate his writings. In crafting Searching for Happiness, Dr. Bharat Bhai draws upon a wealth of knowledge and experience generated through a lifetime of spiritual inquiry and scholarly pursuit. His background as an engineer and a public servant imbues his work with a sense of practicality and pragmatism, while his depth spiritual practice infuses it with a profound sense of purpose and meaning. The structure of the book, as reflected in its index page, bears witness to Dr. Patel's keen understanding of the human psyche and the perennial questions that lie at its core. From the fundamental inquiry into the nature of unhappiness to the profound exploration of self realization, each chapter serves as a stepping stone on the path to enlightenment, a path that Dr. Bharat Bhai has traversed with grace and wisdom. In contemplating the question, why do people feel unhappy? Dr. Bharat Bhai invites us to confront the illusions that shroud our perception of true happiness. Through a judicious analysis of the human condition, he reveals that the root cause of our discontent lies not only in external circumstances, but in the erroneous belief that fulfillment can be found in the transient pleasures of the material world. With the inquiry, Who am I? Dr. Patel guides us to a journey into the depths of our knowledge, own beings, urging us to transcend the limitations of egoic identity and discover the eternal truth of our own divine nature. Through the discerning gaze of discriminative attributes, he unveils the timeless essence that lies at the heart of the cosmos, a truth that transcends the ephemeral fluctuations of the mortal realm and embraces the infinite expanse to consciousness itself. As we navigate the labyrinth corridors of existence, Dr. Bharat Bhai confronts us with the eternal question, what is real and what is apparent? Through a meticulous analysis of the nature of knowledge, he guides us to a discern that eternal varieties that underline the transient manifestations of the material world, freeing us from the shackles of ignorance and awakening us to the radiant splendor of our own divine essence. In contemplating what are human pursuits, Dr. Patel leads us to a journey of self discovery that transcends the limitations of temporal existence. Through the discerning eye of discriminative vision, he reveals the futility of seeking fulfillment in external endeavors, guiding us to the unshakable foundation of inner peace and spiritual realization. In the sacred sanctuary of self realization, Dr. Bharat Bhai confronts the enigmatic nature of unavoidable of actions, recognizing the eternal dance of karma that binds us to the wheel of samarasa or samsara. Yet, through the path of self realization, he teaches us to transcend the limitations of karma and embrace the eternal truth that we are all masters of our own destiny. The luminous presence of universal prayer. In this prayer, Dr. Bharat Bhai invites us to commune with the divine essence that animates all of existence, recognizing that the true characteristics of self realized person are not measured by worldly standards, but by the depth of their spiritual realization and the radiance of their inner light. My point number 4 is reflections on Bharat Bhai's writings. As I looked into the pages of Searching Happiness, I was struck by Bharat Bhai's masterful writing style and his ability to convey complex ideas with clarity and precision. He, his prose is both eloquent and accessible, drawing the reader in its lyrical beauty and profound insight. Throughout the book, Bharat deep reverence for sacred texts of Hindu tradition shines through as he skillfully weaves together the teachings of Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita with his own unique perspective and interpretation. His writing is imbued with a sense of reverence and awe for the mysteries of existence, inviting the reader to join him on the journey of exploration and discovery. In connecting the book's themes to the broader societal issues and values, Dr. Patel challenges us to confront the illusions that bind us and embrace the eternal truths that set us free. His words serve as a powerful reminder of the interconnectedness of all things and importance of living the life in harmony with the natural world. My point number 5 is connection to larger themes. In the vast landscapes of contemporary literature exploring the complexities of human condition, Bharat Bhai's magnum opus, The Means to Search of Happiness, emerges as a beacon of enlightenment, offering profound insights and practical wisdom for navigating the challenges of the 21st century world. Through his meticulous examination of the intricacies of human emotions, identity, and consciousness, this groundbreaking work transcends the limitations of conventional wisdom, offering a holistic approach to attaining sustainability of mind, body, and the universe. Unlike many of his contemporaries who merely scratch the surface of human discontentment, Bharat Bhai delves deep into the root causes of unhappiness in the modern world. In the opening chapters of his book, he invites readers to confront the complexities of human emotions and the underlying factors that contribute to our sense of discontentment. Bharat Bhai lays the groundwork for a transformative journey of self discovery in his book, the one that leads profound understanding of our true nature and purpose in life. As all of us readers would navigate through the pages of In the Means to Search Happiness, we will be invited to question the nature of reality and the illusions of perception that often cloud our judgment. By uncovering the ultimate truth that lies beyond the veil of appearances, Bharat challenges the readers to transcend their limited understanding of the world and embrace a deeper, more profound perspective of life. Moreover, Bharat exploration of knowledge and its transformative power in our lives offers valuable insights into the nature of wisdom and understanding. By probing the depths of human knowledge, he encourages readers to cultivate the thirst of lifelong learning and personal growth, a pursuit that is essential for navigating the complexities of the modern world. One of the most compelling aspects of Bharat Bhai's work in his exploration of the interconnectedness of all living beings and the constituent attributes of the kingdom of nature. By immersing readers in the beauty of complexity and the natural world, he highlights the profound interconnectedness of all living beings, a realization that has profound implications of our understanding of sustainability and harmony of the universe. My sixth point is word of encouragement. I don't really need to encourage Bharat Bhai. In fact, we are all enlightened by his writings and by his very presence. If anyone asks me what are the important learnings from Dr. Patel's book, then my reaction to that would be as follows. Chapter 1, Why Do People Feel Unhappy? In this opening chapter, we delve into the intricacies of human emotions and the underlying causes of discontent in the modern world. The chapter number 2, explore the depths of identity and explore the depths of identity and consciousness, unraveling the enigma of self-awareness and the eternal quest of learning. Chapter 3, discriminative attributes used to describe the self, journey into the realm of introspection, examining the facets of self and discerning qualities that define our existence. Chapter number 4, what is real and what is apparent, navigates through the illusions of perceptions and uncover the ultimate truth that lies beyond the veil of appearances. The fifth chapter, titled What is Knowledge, probes the depth of wisdom and understanding, exploring the nature of knowledge and its transformative power in our lives. Chapter number 6, what are the constituent attributes of the kingdom of nature? They immerse yourself in the beauty and complexity of the natural world, discovering the interconnectedness of all living beings. Chapter number 7, what are human pursuits? Reflects on the myriad endeavors that shape our lives, from the pursuit of material wealth to the quest of spiritual enlightenment. Chapter number 8, unavoidability of actions, contemplates the eternal dance of karma and the inevitability of our actions as we navigate the intricacies of our course and causes and effect. Chapter number 9, why do we engage in activities, examines the motivations behind human behavior, uncovering the driving forces that compel us to action. Chapter number 10, what is the real bondage, explores the chains that binds us to the cycle of birth and death, seeking liberation from the shackles of earthly existence. Chapter number 11, what is the cause of discriminatory vision, delves into the origins of discriminant and insight. I'm sorry, delves into the origins of discernment and insight, unraveling the mysteries of perception and understanding. Chapter number 12, what is the root of doership, investigates the nature of agency and responsibility, exploring the source of our actions and intentions. Chapter number 13, path of self realization, embarks on a transformative journey of self discovery, following the path laid out by the ancient sages and seers. Chapter number 14, pursuing the fault of impurity, cleanses the soul and its impurities and attachments, cleaning the way for truly spiritual realization. Chapter number 15, concentration and meditation, cultivates inner stillness and focus, harnessing the power of meditation to transcend the limitations of the mind. Chapter number 16, universal prayer, commune with the divine through the universal language of prayer, connecting with the source of all existence. Chapter number 17, characteristics of self realized person, embodies the qualities of enlightenment and wisdom, becoming the beacon of light and inspiration to all. And finally, the chapter number 18, self evaluation, reflects on your journey of self discovery, assessing your progress and reaffirming your commitment to spiritual growth. In this meticulously crafted exploration of the human experience, Bharat Bhai invites us to embark on a journey of self discovery and transformation, guided by the timeless wisdom of the ages. My point number 7 and the final point in this speech of mine is basically gratitude and conclusion. In closing, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to each and every one of you for your presence here today. It is very difficult to have people, such a wonderful luminaries from entire Gujarat to assemble here on a holiday in the morning. And it's a great and gratifying feeling to see all of you here. Your support and encouragement means more to Dr. Patel than words can express. And it's through your continued support that his work will continue to shine brightly in the world. To Bharat Bhai, I offer my deepest gratitude and admiration for his tireless dedication and unwavering commitment to the pursuit of knowledge. I also extend my heartfelt congratulations to him on the publication of this extraordinary work. Bharat Bhai, I am also reminded of Taruben, who has been a beacon of light behind you, and in every moment that you have lived, she has been with you in every achievement, in every hard work, and every effort. I also extend my heartfelt congratulations to Bharat Bhai once again on the publication of this extraordinary work. Bharat Bhai, your work has touched the lives of countless individuals around the world through your earlier book, and I'm sure this book also will be following the same path. And I have no doubt that Surging Happiness will continue to inspire and uplift the generations to come. Dear friends, as we celebrate the release of Searching Happiness, let us not forget the power of literature to inspire, to uplift, and to transform. May this book serve as a beacon of hope and a source of inspiration to all who seek truth, wisdom, and happiness in their lives. Thank you very much for your patient listening. Jai Hind.
May I request Shri Kartikeya Bhai to share his views now? Yeah.
Bharat, I'm not used to calling you Bharat Bhai, as a school friend. Shri Deshmukh and all the luminaries on the dais and all people here. I see several friends and colleagues from the days when we were all in college together. And in that sense, it is no surprise when someone says Bharat spent so many hours writing a book, or that he went into this sort of depth in terms of reading 800 books or going into it. Because that is the Bharat one has known, all those who have known him at that time, his studiousness, his going to detail. But even in those days, when we were together in St. Xavier's College, our talks would of course be on physics and mathematics and whatever subjects we are doing. But the greater number of conversations we must have had is on Upanishads, the Gita, and various ethical concepts. And just between us, just arguing for 1 hour on the phone in those days, just trying to get some clarity on what was this, what is this wisdom, and what is this search. And in a sense, the great thing about Indian Hindu thought is the continuous searching process. It's not that you arrive. All our sages are still searching, and we will search. And I think this book takes us further on that journey, on a topic which is so fundamental as happiness. With Professor Deshmukh, we share also the environment field with which we work together, and his remarkable work on the marine environment, on corals and everything else. And it goes back to a long time. But it is not by chance, I suppose, that both of us are here, that the world of human beings and the world of spirituality is actually manifest in that very moment. I can tell you that wearing a snorkel and just floating on the ocean, looking at a coral reef, really thinks of spirituality and God's creations, and to think how wonderful this whole world is, and how we are so fortunate with all the astronomy. We have yet not found another planet. I'm sure there are, and one of these days this will be a big discovery that you find another planet on which there is life. But as of now, this is the only planet. And just think how fortunate we are. We of course don't think of that, but if you just think how fortunate we are to live in this planet, and where you just have to go out and see the complete wonder which is nature. But more than anything else, it is the coral reefs which tell you, because the fish are not afraid of you. You know, in every other situation you go to, everything scatters. But here, you see this creation. And I tell you, for me, one of the big spiritual experiences has been that. And Mr. Deshmukh, we share that, and the fact that you preserve that. You know, happiness is not an easy concept to deal with. As Prashant was saying, there is joy and there is happiness and bliss, and these lines, of course, merge into one another. And when is it one and when is it another? One doesn't know. But just economics is not happiness. That I think is fairly well known. That economics is very important, but that alone is not leading to happiness. And therefore, as many of you perhaps know, Bhutan, our neighbor, doesn't use GDP. It doesn't use the gross domestic product. It tried to say that this concept, can I have a gross um, national happiness, GNH? Can we do that? And in that preamble of that, they write, and it's relevant to this discussion we were just having, that happiness of human beings is not seen as separate from the well-being of other life forms and equals diversity and resilience, and in fact caring for the planet. So the word happiness is whose. Can I be happy if my neighbor is not? In whatever sense I say, can I feel happy if the next person, let alone the next species, that is another issue. But is there happiness, or does happiness necessarily have to embrace not only me but a larger one? Bharat Bhai talks about the I, the ego, and how that has to be seen in a variety of different ways. But how does that ego, where do we draw that line? And in many ways, in India, that line, that Lakshman Rekha, is very, very close. I work in environment, so I work in garbage, for instance. And Indians, you will find, even in the most slums, are very clean. But their cleanliness is confined to that line. But they don't mind just outside that to dumping their waste. Now, what about the happiness line? What about the happiness line? Where does my happiness line lie? And I wondered when I was reading that chapter, where do I draw that line? Another chapter, Bharat talks about the kingdom of nature, purity in knowledge, and impurity meaning agitation. And then he talks about this ignorance, which is lacking of the perception and things like that. But one of the questions which had bothered me all through Bharat after we went into different colleges in Cambridge and various other things, that does happiness contradict agitation? Should I be so content, then will I act? Or should I feel agitated? If I see something wrong, I should feel agitated. I would think it shouldn't say that I'm so sitapragna and so happy, and the world is so happy that I don't act. So many people ask me that in Hinduism and things, does the fact that you are essentially leading to a certain sense of happiness, you are leading to saying that the goals are not yours. Goals, the outcome of our actions is not what is in your mind. And can I have that? But do I need to be agitated? Do I need to have both inner happiness and an outward agitation, at least, which makes me act? And that acting also is an acting based on happiness. So I'm trying to combine, Bharat, those concepts which you've written, that if I feel, yes, that I have reached a certain stage, when India lost the World Cup, was I shattered? Perhaps not. I was certainly unhappy. But even the Indian team, if you say, realized that they'd won every match till that time, and they took it in a spirit which was quite remarkable. In fact, you could see, yes, they had lost something which was their dream, but you could take defeat also in your stride. Of course, so I don't think even the Gita or Upanishad or Bharat Bhai will say that you shouldn't feel unhappy. Of course, you should feel unhappy, but that is nothing to do with the underlying state which you have reached. And this is that, perhaps, that point of joy and happiness. And how do you combine those things? Does it lead to having the killer instinct? You must have heard so many critiques of the Indian cricket team saying, "Ki aap tamara mein killer instinct nathi," You're so nice કે પેલો સામેનો જીતે તો તમને વાંધો નથી આવતો. So do we have a killer instinct or do we not? And does happiness lead to it? But in fact, India has shown, and our cricket has also shown, that with that happiness, we still have the ability to do the best. And in fact, the current government and our Prime Minister is thinking globally. It's not only thinking of the Indian world. You see every day a conversation, even in our environment field, understanding that unless we are a developing country, so we could well argue to some extent like China that look, our self-interest is in our development. We have put ourselves a target, 100 years of India, 2047, we'll be a developed country. So we really can't afford just now to look at these things. But we do. We are the only countries in this COP28, which we talked about. I showed one chart, which was developed by an organization called German Watch. It shows which country has actually fulfilled its targets. And among the large countries, India was the only one which has. We are the only one with, in spite of our whole population pressure and needs, we've been able to keep the type of environment and things which are required. Yesterday, in fact, we were talking about an incident near Bhavnagar, because there are now more lions outside the Gir sanctuary than in the Gir, as the population has increased. And in one of the villages, there was a lioness which used to sit under one tree. Everyone in the village knew it. In fact, they thought this is part of our ecology, our relationship, and it keeps the nilgais and other things away, so it's a good thing. But there was this one guy, one young person, who had got his friends over from Mumbai, and he wanted to show off how he has this lioness. So he goes there, and of course lionesses are not, unlike the fish, they are not acting. They are lying down and nothing happens. So he takes stones and pebbles and throws them at that lioness. And of course the lioness gets up, and this person tries to climb a tree, but it is too late. He dies. His friend, poor chap, the Bombay friend, is shivering in the tree when the villagers come. But the story is what happens afterwards, that in any other country in the world, irrespective of whose fault it is, that animal would have been killed. In India, the villagers themselves says ke pelano wakato. Wakato, and apro wakato. Now that is quite remarkable in a country. And if you ask people, so our connect with nature is very ancient. A lot of this wisdom has not come from reading books. Books are available now. Bharat, you and I can have 800 books. But those sages probably had only the natural elements from which they had to learn. Sitting in snowy conditions, through yoga, having their body behave in such a way that we cannot. I often say that if you take mine or perhaps your phone, Jainil, we only know perhaps 3 or 4% of the functions of that phone. We think we have got and we buy a new phone with even more capabilities, but we don't know how to. I mean, we are happy with this. But what we don't realize is that the same applies to our body and our mind. That iPhone or that powerful instrument which we have been given at birth, we really don't know. And what the yogis did was to find powers which are completely unusual. There's a whole lot of things which you just cannot explain. And I say, for instance, does this room have music? Does this have, say, Beethoven's symphony? And of course, we'll say, no, it does not have it. And then, does this little instrument have it? No, it doesn't have it. But if it's a radio and I tune in, I'm getting it. So not everything is perceived by us. And what humans are perceiving is such a small sliver of what there is. And our existence is very small. And so that nature thing is humbling. And that humbling gives you joy. It gives you joy at the fact that I was chosen to be on this planet. I was chosen to have a life, and I've done this. So there are many things on happiness which we can talk. I don't want to say more. But this book, I've done one reading, I must say. This is not a book you can do one reading of. And it was very fortunate to have Mr. Deshmukh at the beginning of the book and the end of the book as well. He is sandwiched, Bharat is text between his forward and his review, and that also helps. But it is a book which you have to dwell with. It's like many of our scriptures. First reading, you don't really get much out of it, or don't understand it. You might get out of it, but you don't understand. You have to read it. What did he really mean? And Bharat, maybe you will expect some phone calls to say what you really meant here, and we can renew our discussions which we had in college. So thank you very much, and congratulations, Bharat. Thank you.
Yeah, very enlightening views, sir. Yeah. Can we have Mahendra bhai, in fact, whose family started this AMA Center for Wisdom Management, and today we are fortunate that.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, my friends on the dais. You know, it's so difficult to follow after such erudite and articulate speakers on various subjects, all leading towards the happiness part. So I've been thinking, I had thought of saying something, but I have to now change everything because part of it, what I had to say, is already been covered. So I have to find something new to say. Talking of happiness, you know, happiness, a lot of us find happiness because I see very few youngsters here. So it means that youngsters have already found the happiness, we have not. That's why we have come to hear it. But I'm sure they will understand as they grow up because they find happiness in the sense that there are a lot of the happiness, the humankind, humans find happiness in relationships. Basically, the relationships is friendships. And there are friendships are three types. One is a friendship of meaning, matlab, for purpose, because you want something from somebody, you want to learn something, you want to supply, you want to get or whatever, and you make friends until that purpose is served, and then you find somebody else. Then there is a friendship for pleasure. That's what the most youngsters are now finding the pleasure on social media and this, that. I was actually taken aback when I came in and one of our new girls from the administration came and asked me, "Sir, what is your social media handle?" First of all, I didn't understand the handle and then the social media also. When I told her that I don't have a social media handle, she was surprised. Now, that is something which is give pleasure to them. The pleasure which gives to us is something different that we probably most of us, we may not admit it, but most of us would be very happy to sit across the table with the friends with a drink in the evening. So there is a company which you seek for sharing your joy or sharing the talks. You actually crack jokes, you exchange jokes and things like that. And third is the friendship of virtue. That is where you see some of these friendship like what you see here of Kartikeya Bhai, Ramesh Bhai, Deshmukh Saab. That is the friendship where you want to learn something from each other, where you can actually enhance your life, you can enhance your experiences, etc. And that is what we have actually seen. I'm really amazed with the kind of recollection which you had about your friendships and a little bit what I understood from Rohit Bhai. And that is sometimes you feel jealous about it, you know, that I wish we also had it. Not because not everybody can say the same thing about this kind of friendship of virtue. Think about it. Are we, and this is what I would like the youngsters or the younger generation to now think beyond the social media, that are you going to ever develop a friendship of virtue which will enrich your life, which will benefit you? So I will not take it too long. I just wanted to end with a couple of sayings, which is actually, I wrote it down and it's so applicable. Is that, you know, the Santayana is a poet in 1949. He wrote, once friends are that part of human race Friends are that part of human race that which can be that which makes us human. That is the friends. And then I would like to end, especially with respect to the friendship which has been shared here and which is the great poet Yeats. Think where man's glory most begins and ends. Think where man's glory. આપણે બધાને કીર્તિ જોઈએ છે. Think where it most begins and ends. And then say that my glory was that I had such friends. That is the, and I would say, my message would be to find happiness, find the friends of virtue. Jai Hind.
Mahendra bhai, we are taking back home a great thing, the thing that you said last. Can we have our President Sawan bhai now?
Dear Professor Deshmukh, Bharat bhai, Kartike bhai, Mahendra bhai, Prashant bhai, Ashish bhai, Rohit bhai, so many friends, Patel sahib, our teacher, and so many friends and ladies and gentlemen. First of all, absolutely, I would say we are grateful, thankful as AMA to have this launch, this opportunity to launch this book. And I have gone through the book once and again twice. So, because as Kartike bhai says, this is not the book that you can read once and you can just then, okay, that's one more book that I read. This book that we have to go inside. And intense, I would say, intense philosophy made so simple for a contemporary seeker, right? As you have written, sir, in your foreword, that this is the philosophy for a contemporary seeker. And that's what I can see in written such a beautiful English that it is. And without a doubt, this philosophy is one of the best of the self-help books that it could be for all of us in our library. So of course, I've jotted so many points while reading the book. I'm not going to go through all of them. Quite a bit of it have been discussed. But a wonderfully sequenced 18 chapters, and of course, the ending with the chapter with the review from Professor Deshmukh on starting from why people are unhappy. And I think two of the jargons that I think Bharat bhai you coined, I would think about is action imprints, and that happens as a matter of emotions and how you act and the activities. And another is a kingdom of nature, the purity and the impurity, and then of course the ignorance. And certainly that's what I was saying, that I would not want to do or foray into getting into any analysis of the book that if I'm trying to showcase my knowledge, it will only showcase my ignorance, because as deep as you go and you know that what you don't know. And it's wonderfully written. Some of the points, of course, Bharat bhai has so very well mentioned is this, how the emotions convert into, and then he has gone into who am I. One wonderful quote and unquote that I would read out in your chapter 4. There is no being of apparent and no non-being of real. And of course, when we read this, very good, nicely written, don't know whether it makes sense, but wonderfully explained with an example of a rope and a snake. A rope that we perceive as a snake. So what this means is there's no being of apparent and no non-being of real, where that apparent is a snake, there's no being of that apparent. And then the real is a rope, and there's no non-being of that rope. And that's what happens. And the real difficulty or the reason of that apparent is the lack of true knowledge. And true knowledge here, that knowledge is defined, Bharat bhai, in a very philosophical way, where we understand that knowledge is something much more than what we have gained or what we have even strived for in whole of our life. Wonderfully placed, I think, Professor, you are that do what you love what you do. So I remember of a quote that, a duty that becomes a desire ultimately becomes a delight. So now the question is, what should be the duty? If we read the book, now everybody has a perception of a duty, that my duty is this, it can be anything. But the going into the introspection and the knowledge towards the self-realization. By itself, self-realization is a big word for me, but even as a seeker towards, whether I am at a level 2, 3, 4, wherever, in the levels 1 to 6 that Bharat Bhai has defined in his last chapter in self-evaluation, that is where we understand that what is the duty that I am here, what is the purpose of life. It's so fabulously defined. And maybe a couple of points that I would try to narrate from here are, of course, he's mentioned mind also. So he's taken I, the ego, the mind, the activity, the knowledge, the meditation, the concentration, and the mind. And he's writing one place that the mind is some that, so when it gets into worldly pleasure, it becomes fond of something, and the fondness converts into infatuation. Infatuation converts into desires, and then ardent desire is what you've written. And then ardent desire converts into, at times, greed and lust and anger. And he continues. And I remember a verse from, very nicely written. He's not put it in any religious format. He's not put it in any no verses, no Sanskrit. So it's absolutely wonderfully laid, sequenced, well drafted, simple, people for the layman like me, I would say. But then I remember a verse from chapter 2, Bhagavad Gita, that Krodhat bhavati sammohat smruti vibraha smruti brahmsat buddhi nasho buddhi nasat pranasyati. And he has explained this in a very nice simple English. This means that krodhat, that also he says that mind, fondness, infatuation, desire, and then it converts into this lust, greed, etc., which then bhavati sammoha, that's delusion, that creates delusion. Delusion then leads to smruti vibra, that's loss of memory. Loss of memory, people forget who I am, where I am, what I am supposed to be, which then leads to the loss of intellect. This loss of intellect converts into discrimination. I do not know what is right, what is wrong. And buddhi brahmsat pranasyati, that means then the person perishes, then there's a destruction all over. Very well. And I was so happy and so nice that I could relate and I could read, and then so nicely written. I absolutely recommend this book, The Characteristics of Self-Realized Person, that he has written. The Sthita Pragya state, that also is what very nicely evaluated. And of course, sir, your forward and review, and I would also want to quote before I end, that the author words echo like whispers from ancient realms. That's Professor Deshmukh's resonating with contemporary seekers. So thank you again. Thank you for giving us as AMA this opportunity, Bharat Bhai. And we look forward. I feel now that I have not read the two books earlier that Bharat Bhai has written, and probably the first thing on the to-do list comes is this intent of Bhagavad Gita and the path to the self-realization. Thank you again. Thanks you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming in such a big number. Very happy to have you and look forward. And sometimes it's a good problem to have less chairs, but I compliments to the secretariat to have as many chairs. I think we can also look at two people standing. One chair is over here, sir. If you can come over here. One chair, I think somebody should organize for you. Thank you. And of course, one is over here. I can stand, absolutely. And that's one over here. Please come over here, sir. And of course, over to Bharat Bhai. We are all looking forward to listen to you. Thank you, please.
Good morning. Good afternoon, actually. No. Respected Mr. Gandhi, respected Vice Chancellor Dr. Deshmukh, respected Padma Shri Kartikeya Sarabhai, respected Shri Mahendra Bhai, respected Dr. Khudiyawala, friends, family, well-wishers, and I'm going to add one, seekers of happiness. I'm pleased to see so many people here who have taken time on a Sunday morning to come here. While each of you has a reason to be here, while I was listening to the speakers here, I was wondering how many people here, sitting here who are listening to us, feel that your life is brimming with happiness, that you are free from anxiety, fear, and expectations. Chinta, bhaya, asha, vinirmukta. How many of you can say that they are chinta, bhaya mukt? Can you please raise your hands? Very interesting. Most of the people here I've seen did not raise their hands. Only a few enlightened people raised their hands, you know. You know, except for those enlightened people, most of us are in the bondage of anxiety, fear, and expectations. Most of us have a sense of incompleteness, physical incompleteness, and undoubtedly emotional incompleteness. There's an ongoing sense of inadequacy centered on I, the individual self. And it starts right in the morning when you're brushing your teeth and looking at the mirror. Gee, I've got this gray hair. Why, this wrinkle was not there yesterday. And then you start thinking about your health. You know, my health is poor. You know, my children are not listening to me. My wife is bickering. You know, I'm not getting all the accolades for all the things that I'm doing for people. You know, ad infinitum. And this sense of inadequacy drives one to make efforts in the pursuit of attaining completeness. However, at all times, we are subject to the threefold sufferings. Now, the book that I've written essentially is all Bhagavad Gita. Without saying Bhagavad Gita, you talked about the sequence of losing the senses, you know, how lust changes, you know, all those things, you know. So most of us are subject to this threefold sufferings, trita, body-mind complex sufferings, daihik tap, such as diseases like diabetes, cancer, heart attack, you know, and of course, mental like lust, anger, all those things. And of course, natural afflictions like storms and floods, they cause all kinds of sufferings, you know. And finally, the third one our scriptures talk about is the bhautik, material afflictions, you know, such as those caused by humans and animals. Now, these afflictions cause anxiety, chinta. They cause fear, bhaya. And they cause unhappiness. We all want freedom from these afflictions. We all want to be free from the bondage of unhappiness. We all want to be happy. Unfortunately, most of us perceive ourselves as limited as the body and know the world as something different and separate from us. In Vedanta, they talk about parichinna drashti. That's what is happening. Limiting perspective, We start to see ourselves just as ourselves and see the world as separate from us. So anxious for happiness, bound by I-ness and mindness, and of course with a I'm a doer instinct, we all engage in activity. Now, because of the discriminating vision, we form an intellect that favors or likes some things, and this favors or dislikes others. As a result, fondness or attachment to agreeable objects and hate or aversion to unfavorable objects is developed. And this is how we get into bondage with the rules of nature. Though we have the freedom to act, the consequences of our actions are not in our hands. All our efforts to be happy do not necessarily make us happy. Only when the outcome of the effort is positive and meets our expectations, happiness manifests. However, if the outcomes are negative and contrary to our expectations, naturally unhappiness manifests. Now, when the senses, the five senses contact the objects, sense objects, all these dualities are formed: happiness, unhappiness, pleasure, pain, heat, cold. The sense objects being born and have, because they are with the property of birth and are perishable, the impacts of the observation of the senses to the external world is also with birth and death. In other words, they are short-lived. They are transient and do not last. Now we can, as somebody talked about ice cream, one can savor or taste eating ice cream, maybe 1 scoop or 2 scoops. However, if you are gorging on ice cream, we are surely going to upset our stomach. So material enjoyments, they just offer glimpse of the real bliss, just like a mirror to see one's face. Anything that gives us a glimpse of real bliss, one will embrace and hold it tight to one's chest. However, when it is no longer suitable to see one's face or useful to us, it is going to be discarded. As long as things are coated with happiness and I-ness-ridden sense, and can allow us to provide a glimpse of real happiness, they are embraced. However, as soon as the coating of happiness in the I-ness-ridden sense disappears, these things are immediately discarded. Therefore, continuing to search for lasting happiness in the objects of senses is vacuous. So, accordingly, our search has to be redirected away from external sense objects But where should we be looking for it? Now, most of us cognize the I as the body-mind complex. Now, at the outset, it appears rational. But is it real? Is it correct? In reality, the body-mind complex is insentient and cannot function independently without some conscious divine element by whose grace all mutations, all activities of knowledge and action of the senses and the conscience materialize. The convincing proof is provided in the awake state when this conscious element provides its power to the body-mind complex so that we can perform all our normal functions. Now, in the dream state, when it abandons the bodily chariot and the sense horses and has relationship only with the mind and intellect, at that time, the body and the senses are removed from their posts. Words may enter the ears, but not heard. Things may be in sight, but not seen. Materials with aroma may be next to the nose, but the olfactory sensations are not felt. And when it abandons the mind and the intellect in the deep sleep, there is neither any resolve nor variant of the mind nor discrimination of the intellect. Only because of the divine conscious element within us, we are all aware of our existence and the existence of everything around us. It is the same element in every entity, irrespective of caste, creed, color, faith, nationality. It's the same element whether one is a Christian, a Jew, a Muslim, a Buddhist, a Jain, a Hindu. In all living beings, the conscious element exists as the knower seer, completely disassociated from any doership and enjoyership of the individual. The one we commonly know as Jivatma, the individual's self, soul, spirit, is the divine conscious element that, due to ignorance, has acquired oneness with the body complex. The true nature of the individual self is the same as the cosmic self, the Brahman, or as said in chapter 8, Aksharam Paramam Brahma, supreme imperishable reality. The one, though beyond words and thoughts, Ovang Man Sagochar, is described as Asti Bhati Priya, also as Sat Chit Anand, and I use the term real conscious bliss, where Sat means that which provides the sense of perpetual existence or the sense of being. Chit means that which provides the sense of consciousness or a sense of knowledge, illumination, wisdom, and awareness. And of course, Anand means that which provides a sense of eternal and immovable happiness. Now, just as there is no distinction between the space enclosed in a pot and the pervasive space. And upon the destruction of the pot is only the pervasive space. There is no distinction between the pure individual self, the Shuddha Atma, and the supreme imperishable reality. Even though the bliss form cosmic self is not separate from the individual self or jiv. It is abhinna and is ever attained. It is nitya prapt. We perceive non-attainment and separateness, which is because of the limited vision, parichinna drashti. So why do we perceive non-attainment and separateness? Scriptures have talked about the reasons, and the three reasons are because of the three faults that exist in our consciences. In Vedanta, they talk about merv, vikshep, and avaran, and I've used the word impurity, vacillations, and shrouding of the knowledge. And the fault of impurity is in the form of evil inclinations, such as lust, anger, greed, delusion, excessive pride, arrogance, and so forth. The fault of vacillations, vikshep, is in the form of the fickleness of the mind, the tossing of the mind that does not allow one to concentrate, and which is very important in any success of any effort. Human need concentration. You may have one page given to 5 children. One kid is going to grasp in one reading in 5 minutes, but the other one is going to take 2 days to understand what is said in this one page. And that's where the question of concentration comes up, So success to a large extent depends upon how much focused an individual is. And that is one of the reasons, one of the faults that has been described in Vedanta, to try to eliminate. And finally, the fault of shrouding, which is the veil of ignorance that obscures knowledge and self-realization. So the question is reasonable, that why knowledge of our eternally blissful true nature does not happen. Everybody knows in general that our true nature is Satchidanand, it's pure bliss, but why do individuals do not realize that? And as I said, the root obstacle is ignorance. However, secondary barriers must be removed before we can tackle the root. Before we can tackle ignorance, we need to get rid of the secondary barriers. If you are a diabetic patient and you need to get surgery, the surgeons are not going to take you and start cutting you up. The first thing they're going to do is make sure your blood pressure and your sugar and all these vital signs are normalized. So I think the same thing applies, Direct knowledge is not acquired until one acquires fitness for knowledge. And fitness of direct knowledge is not acquired until one's conscience becomes pure and one can concentrate the mind and meditate on the self. It is then only that one can situate with oneness in the self. And of course, upon situating with oneness in the self, one attains eternal, immovable happiness and complete removal of unhappiness. Reaching such a stage, all actions performed by such a realized person, a person of stable wisdom, Sita Prajna, all actions do not become cause for fruit. Such a sage of stable wisdom attains perfection of actionlessness. And the term they use in Vedanta is Naishkarmya Siddhi, a state acquired through knowledge wherein even after doing everything, one is a non-doer, or indeed not doing anything. And one does not come into the bondage of actions and is always at peace within, is content in the self and rejoices in the self. So that is in essence the ultimate goal of achieving the happiness. So most of the discussion that I have in the book essentially is Bhagavad Gita, written so that the Western world can understand the philosophy that has been espoused thousands of years ago. Before I conclude, I want to thank Vice Chancellor Sanjay Deshmukh, Padma Shri Kartike Sarabhai, Shri Mahendra Bhai, Dr. Godiawala, Shri Gandhi, and all the well-wishers, family and friends. I want to take this opportunity to thank the AMA for their wholehearted support in hosting this book launch event. Once again, thank you all for coming and gracing this occasion with your presence. I remain indebted to you all. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we got the answer of the question that we raised initially about bliss. And listening from the horse's mouth is really a pleasure, and it goes within. We learned a lot through Mahendra Bhai's talk of friendship of virtue, and through the life of Kartike Bhai and Deshmukh ji, where they have been working for environment, mangrove, for the benefit of the mankind. Probably that brings happiness to them. And Savan Bhai, he absorbed the whole book. So thank you very much, all of you. We have lunch waiting for you, maybe for temporary happiness, and then we move on. Thank you very much.